We are now learning of a sixth migrant child who died after reaching the U.S.-Mexico border. But the 10-year-old girl's death was actually the first to happen. She died last September, predating the deaths of these other children. The Department of Health and Human Services say that the girl suffered from congenital heart defects and died after surgery at Nebraska's Children's Hospital. When asked why HHS did not publicly announce her death, a spokesman said that they had prepared a statement at the time, but reporting requirements include notifying appropriate officials, and, quote, media is not part of that list. Well, today, the head of the Department of Homeland Security provided no new details on this young girl, but did talk about the border and the overwhelming rise in minors and families arriving there.
Does every child in CBP custody have access to a pediatrician?
No.
Does the CBP have clear protocols regarding the transfer of children to a hospital when presenting acute symptoms, especially when we look at the aggressive nature of this current flu outbreak that we're seeing along the border?
Yes, and as commissioner, I directed that all children coming into our custody be screened by a certified medical professional.
Cuison Villazor is an immigrant law professor at Rutgers University and is back with us today. And so we had talked about the 5 deaths, and now we've learned of this 6th who had this congenital heart defect. Just when you learned about this 6th death, what was your reaction?
It's just heartbreaking. It's absolutely tragic that 6 children have died in our custody. And they really force us to question the choices that the government has made in setting up these detention policies that detain children, thousands of children.
Before we get to the bigger picture and the issues with detaining and maybe perhaps being more humane, according to reports, because everyone's saying, well, why didn't we know about this death? According to reports, officials are required to notify local child welfare authorities and report such deaths internally, but are not actually required to announce them to the public. Do you know why that is?
It's unclear to me why those reporting protocols were not followed in this case. So they demonstrate that there was some kind of a breakdown. And they also show the need for some transparency. The public has the right to know about what's going on in these detention centers, particularly when they affect children, as what we've seen.
Why do you think this is happening?
As in why children are dying in our jurisdiction? It's just absolutely horrendous. It's part of a larger problem, in my mind, of the policy of incarcerating and detaining children and families as part of enforcing immigration law. There are many reasons why we don't need to do that. One is to avoid the deaths that we're seeing, but really there are more humane ways of addressing immigration enforcement. We don't need to incarcerate thousands and thousands of children.
5 of the 6 are were Guatemalan children. That just struck me as, is it because so many Guatemalan families, Guatemalan young people are coming up and fleeing the violence from their home countries? Why do you think?
That may be the case. There are many reasons why people from the Northern Triangle are coming here in order to seek asylum. There are concerns with respect to their safety. There are social upheavals. There are economic concerns as well. But for the most part, they are coming here in order to claim asylum. And so maybe right now we're hearing about 5 Guatemalans, but for so long as long as we don't address the larger problems of why people in those countries are coming here in order to seek asylum, we're going to expect a lot more deaths, unfortunately, within our hands.
6 deaths since September that we know of. Rose, thank you very much.
Thank you.